Well, finished up at the burn. It was great on Sunday. I get in here and everything was done. It's a pretty quiet day here at the burn anyway. And gave me a chance to talk to Jason about, what's coming up. It won't be that far away before we start getting the barn prepared for babies. And how does that look? What is that going to look like? So, for those of you who haven't been to Northfield, we have 3 shed rows, all in barn N. We share the last shed row with Amy Holler and Buck Holler. And our first shed row usually has a lot of babies in it. It's a little rougher looking than the other 2, so we want to clean that out. I don't know if many of you have visited the barn at Northfield. Nice big old wide open barn. The middle shed row, we had the floor flattened and put mats in. Now it's pretty expensive to do that, but at the same token, the first shed row does need that flat, and what we want to do is pull all the shavings out of all the stalls on that side. Any of the stalls that need flattened and leveled out, bring some rock dust in, get them leveled out. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to condense the barn into those 2 shed rows, the middle shed row and then Jason's side where he has most of the racehorses. This will be the week where we start to move out some of the horses that are either being sold or that are moving around or that are being turned out. I had talked in the 2-year-old video about some horses that we are going to turn out, horses that I think have warranted enough talent and work to be held over, as Joel likes to say it, held over for a late fall training into racing 2025. So I guess our plan is to bolster. I was displeased with the way our horses raced this spring, the earlier part. We just didn't have enough active bodies, so to speak, on the horse side. So how do we bolster our troops for January through April? Recognizing that we have some 2-year-olds that, although I think they're talented enough, they just either physically or mentally haven't exhibited the acuity to be effective racehorses for us in 2024. Now, we can easily just get rid of them all, those horses, but I think that's kind of wasteful. The sun was just out, now it's cloudy. I think that's kind of wasteful when you talk about a horse like Never Lose Felix. Well-bred, has exhibited some talent, made a ton of breaks, but I have to chalk a lot of that up into physicality, right? Growing up, maturing, and his inability to overcome that. And I'm not sure that that's a weakness more than just simply difficult for him to do. So I want to believe that we let this horse go out, eat grass, fill out his shoulders and his hips, bring him back in, that he'll be a bigger, stronger animal as we train them back down. Now, this is timely because as we get down on our troops, so to speak, we do have some openings. We moved some brood mares out of Pennsylvania into Kentucky. They have to be down there for now. And it gives us openings to move some of the horses around, which we are planning to do. So that is going on. Now that's in the periphery, because what we have front and center is stake races starting, right? And more particularly the next generation next week. We want to focus all week. Under a microscope will be Gorgeous Package. Not that they're not anyway, but we want to make sure that everything runs smoothly for what's coming up. Gorgeous Package, Cadeau, Rose Run, AJ, and Aunt Lily. We want to make sure that everything is done perfectly this week for those horses. We also have horses continuing on pop-up series. We have stake series starting. Arrowhead Hanover tonight is in the Poconos with my brother Mark and Tim. So these are all very exciting times and very exciting things, but we have to stay on top of everything. So as I said with Jason today, I want to make sure that our help is aware of what is going on. Our help is aware that they're supposed to help out, clean out those barns. As we lose some horses, that means less money for our caretakers, and we can supplement some of those by saying, hey, if you want to start helping out clean up both sides of the barn and get it ready for the babies that will be coming in, then that's fine. That's exactly what we're interested in doing, which allows everybody to stay on staff also. So how did our week go? Man, we've been running a bit of a heater the last 3 weeks. I was obviously so excited for a number of horses, and not all of them are going to wow you, right? There's going to be some horses that jump up and you're like, wow, that horse was great. There's going to be horses that a little flat let you down. We had that with Chicago Hall this week, and this is, an imperfect science, right? It's much like, I always like to make baseball references or sports references to the horses into the stable. Well, it doesn't matter how good your players are supposed to be. They all have to be firing at the same time to win championships. And when it comes to our horses, this is a time when, we're coming out of spring training, so to speak. We're going into the regular season, and it won't be long before we're in the playoffs. And when it comes to our horses, even though Chicago was flat, we know why. We know what to work with. And with horses like Arrowhead, I didn't know if he'd be a Stallion Series horse or a Sire Stake horse, and I still don't. But tonight will be a step forward to deciding that in the All-Stars. So all this stuff is going on. You see Kentucky also exposing horses that may or may not be top-level horses, but I want them to be effective horses wherever we race them. So whether Gymboree and Grand Slam Deal start in the Goldenrod C division or the B division, that's fine. That'll be up to them. Memento Mori, is he every bit as good as we think he is? I believe so, but he has to prove it still. So there's that going on, right? Westland Warrior, what went on with him? There's a horse that I have way up on my list, and highly touted colt. Looked terrible his first start. And the worst kind of terrible because there wasn't a whole lot show up. No blood, no mucus in his airway, no pimples, no, he didn't flip his palate. AST wasn't that high. GGT was a little elevated, but to the extent of him rolling off stride in the last turn, and he didn't just run. He was all done in the last turn. So questions to be answered. The biggest one for me this week, I guess, in regards to all of those horses is where are we going to race Westland Warrior next? And I think I'll have a very candid conversation with Eric this week to figure out, is this a horse that's going to be a long-term project in the state of Kentucky? Are we just going to bring him back to Pennsylvania? I'm fine either way. But by the 12th, I need to know. Actually, we need to know before Wednesday because that's when they draw Monday's card. So what went on this week? Arson just continues to be an amazing animal. A winner in 150-3 last Monday. He was so good in doing it too. For a horse that really had no business doing that. He was off some time, fought just a tiny bout of sickness when he got down to Kentucky. Weren't able to train him up super tight, but then goes out and wins in 50-3. Just an amazing start for him. So a great job by Eric and Kathy. A great job by Scotty driving him. The rest of the horses, the 2-year-olds, good. Memento Mori was good. Westland Warrior, as I said a minute ago, made a break. The fillies were adequate, 4th and 5th. They raced okay. I'd like to see a little bit more from them. Pickpocket and Memory and Imagination showed up great again. So our sophomores from last year's crop, was the top of the heap, has been showing up and looking very, very good. And then looks like Money was a winner. Was he awesome? No, he wasn't awesome, but he got the job done. He won the race. And wins like that go a long way, right? The other side of that is if you continue to chase horses you can't catch, it really brings you down a notch, right? It calls the horse's confidence into question, and then it starts to play with their consistency. So a win from that race could go a very long way to Looks Like Money. And then Born to Dance was also a winner. There's another horse, not a stake colt. We're going to try him in the Buckeye one more time this coming week at Scioto, but not what I would call a stake colt, but very effective horse nonetheless. And that's really all you want, right? Is to understand what your horse is and is not, and then race them accordingly. He's right kind of in that middle of fair/overnight up to Buckeye. He's right in the middle, a little bit of a tweener there. We'll see how he races this week. I'm sure it will not be a cakewalk. It'll be a tough journey for him, but we'll see how he races, and I think he's earned the opportunity to race against those horses. Foxy Seaside showed up great this week also. I jumped over some horses here. Greatest Ending was great. What you saw the other night was an open trotter in the back, an open pacer in the bottom class that showed some class and just circled the field in an almost impossible position, an almost impossible trip. He still got the job done. So hopefully, again, same thing we've been preaching for a year for this guy. Let's see some consistency. Jason's on top of it. We have options with him. You know, he had mentioned even Indiana this week as being, you want to have a place where he's almost on track. Now, Mohawk, he's only 15 minutes away. Does that matter? I don't know. Indiana, he'd be on track. The Meadowlands is my biggest problem. Somebody had mentioned the Meadowlands. Listen, I think the horse is good enough to race anywhere on planet Earth. The problem is 2-hour ships here and there, stop and go traffic on hot summer nights. Is this a way to keep him effective? don't know. I'm not certain of that. But he sure was effective the other night and looked great. Lonely Lakewood was a winner. We removed the flip-flops from him for this week. I don't think I can make it on Wednesday. I'm just waiting for the draw for Marion to come out to make my final decision, but I don't think I can make it to the Meadows on Wednesday, which is fine. Lonely Lakewood's a pretty easy horse to drive. Anybody can drive him. Really Don't Care and Blanton's Blue and Ready for Landing. We had a big Wednesday. All three of those horses raced great. Ready for Landing, Really Don't Care is coming back to Ohio. I want to get a checkup with her. I have to watch too. I notice I do these videos a lot, and I'll still have people message me asking for information that I've already disseminated. Now, I'm not going to apologize because this is how I communicate with all of you. Having said that, I'll send a note out to Really Don't Care's group and say, hey, I am bringing the filly back to Northfield Park. We are going to get her checked. Make sure everything's working properly with her, and then after that we'll make a decision where we're going to race her. Whereas I had just spoke to Mark about Blanton's Blue. Him and Aaliyah might race Blanton's Blue in Goshen. That's Legends Day or whatever they call it, Hall of Fame Day at Goshen. I've never been there for that day, and everybody says you have to make it. It's just every single year on that day I have to be somewhere else. So I'm hopeful that Mark will take the horse, race the horse at Goshen. Taylor can ship the horse down there for Mark and Aaliyah. That's the plan, anyway, for now. And then we'll make a decision after Goshen. Blanton's Blue's much in the same trajectory as Born to Dance, right? Not quite. When you go to the Excelsior, you're 4, 5, 6 to 1, and you're a factor, that's great. But when you have to ship 6 hours to do it and race for $20,000, knowing that you're really racing for 5 or 6, that's not super effective, is it? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out this week. I suspect you may see Blanton's Blue, and I don't know how this will trend with our New York clients, but you may see Blanton's Blue show back up at Northfield Park. He still has room to move in that 4-7 claimer where he belongs. And that's my take on Blanton's Blue. I like the horse. I think he's an effective sophomore. He's done his work as best he can. You can't ask for more than that. But to keep running him all over New York, to be 3rd and 4th best and 3rd and 4th fiddle in every single Excelsior, I just don't see the viability in that. Sweeney raced terrible the other day, but showed a little blood, so they're going to race him. Told him, I said, just race him in the 3-year-old claimer for No Mercy 2. He's a nice horse, but again, very similar. Not quite as good as Blanton's Blue, but a similar trajectory. Find a place for him to race. And that's the plan for Sweeney. Gorgeous Package was great the other day. Yeah, she blew the turn. She saw something. I watched the replay 3 or 4 times. I think maybe when Angus kind of swatted his horse with the whip, she kind of shied sideways away from it and then still had the mental fortitude to charge back on and win the race. I was really happy with her. Lover's Play was good. A little sore after the race, actually, right behind. Now, she hasn't had much of a break and has been going since the start of Oak Grove or before. Might need some time. I don't know. We'll see how she looks this week. I'll have Dr. Latessa have a good look at her. Save America's next start will be in Pennsylvania. Showed a little blood, but there's a little tricky little hook there. He was brought off Lasix. When you remove a horse from Lasix, you have to be off it for a certain amount of time in the state of New York and Pennsylvania and province of Ontario. They're all different, and to get him back on the Lasix program in the most expedited way means that he'll have to race and be scoped in Pennsylvania. So that's the plan for his next start. And then Purple People Eater continues to race good, kind of get jammed up a little bit. Actually touched her left elbow. Not shocking. When you look at her gait on the TV, it's not shocking that she touched her elbow, but we got to fix that. Try our best to fix that. And again, Thursday, we had 2 pari-mutuel starters, and they were both winners in Foxy Seaside and Drebin. I thought they both raced tremendous last week. Very proud and very pleased with both of them. Friday, again, our big week continued, right? We had a bunch of first starters. Manhattan Money was great. Just got beat at the wire. 59, and if I'm not mistaken, his last half was 57 and a piece, 58. He looked very, very good doing it. He's a great guy, did all he could. I just don't know if he's going to be an effective horse for us. We'll see over the next week how that plays out. Rose Run AJ looked amazing. His own last half in 55 seconds flat. You can't ask for much more than that from a baby in their first lifetime start. 27-2 on the end of it. He looked awesome in doing it. Collector S showed some grit, upper class, and racing great. I've mentioned it a couple of times. You're probably going to see Brace for Landing join him in Stacy and Brett's barn down in southern Ohio because he fits that class that Collector's in very good. And as much as I like Collector, I don't think he's as good as Brace for Landing. So if we can find a spot for Brace for Landing there, if Collector happens to graduate from that class, then that's a spot for sure for Brace for Landing. He fits the class below right now also. So we'll see how that plays out. Blue Ventura, again, another great first lifetime start for a horse. 56, 27 and a piece on the end of it. The horse just looked fantastic also. We had a tremendous day. Tremendous week, really, but a tremendous day Wednesday and back Friday. Texan Soprano, our only winner, but man, everybody raced really, really well. The only downsides of the entire day was a flat race from He's a Great Guy, and then a flat race from Chicago Hall and a break from Century Legion. We're going to look to get Legion back going this week in Ontario. And Chicago Hall, get him cleaned up. We scoped him. It didn't take us long to figure out what had happened with Chicago Hall. This time of year, very difficult. We have horses with allergies, very difficult to get them back on track. But that's what we plan on doing here with Chicago Hall. 3-point Blue Chip was awesome. He is sitting on a big mile in the Meadows, and he certainly looked very, very good the other day in racing. Finishing second, but kind of squirted through late in the mile and was charging at the wire. Raced great, and JK Victory just beat again 49 and looked very, very good. Now yesterday, coming off that high, I felt bad. I mixed emotions on Saturday. One, it was a gloomy day. Two, I was in the midst of arguing with James, which we've since squashed, which was good for me. It bothers me, throughout the racing season, you're going to butt heads with people. Whether I butt heads with you once in a while, or with our trainers, or anybody else, I'm always trying to do what's best for the horses and what's best for you. So is James. And sometimes what we feel is best for each and every horse isn't always the same. But that just means it shows that one, I care, and two, he cares, which is important. So that was bothering me a little bit. And then I come to find Ken Oakes, who is probably one of the premier ambassadors. No, I guess not one of the premier ambassadors, but definitely one of the strongest, most effective voices for horse people in the Maritimes, and PEI in particular. Just a great guy. Tragically died in a car accident. It was a crushing blow to racing for sure, and one that anytime somebody dies unexpectedly, it bothers you. I'm sure it bothers you all the time, and it's been a while since that has happened. And at the very same day, I found out that one of our longtime caretakers from yesteryear, so to speak, from the very start of the stable, that hadn't been with us for a while, but and just kind of lost track when Ron Braybender had passed away, and both of those things combined with the, what was going on that particular day, made for a gloomy Saturday, right? And I had to the point where I had done all your videos, all of them were done, and I raced them all. Or a night like last night, talking out with James, a night like last night certainly patched everything up, made me feel a lot better, and made for more effective videos on a Sunday for sure. The only blemish on the entire day, no, there was two. Dominion and Victory Blue Chip made a break. It looked like Dominion just maybe overtrotted himself. A lot of people said maybe he should have put him in the 2-hole. He's got a bit of an ignorant mouth on him, that horse too, so I don't blame Jason Rand at all. I would have done the exact same thing and pushed on to the lead. Where we go from here with him and what he is up to moving forward, he's under a microscope, this horse for sure, and I want to see the horse race better and do better, but that's going to take a collaborative effort from him and everyone around him to make sure that he does that. And if he doesn't, then he'll be by the wayside, and there is going to be a sale coming up. A lot of them ducked the preferred sale this coming Monday, but I highly doubt that's going to happen again. We're going to have probably 3, 4, or 5 horses that will be sold in the next preferred sale, and Dominion can't keep hiding behind bad lines to keep him safe. A couple of good lines and a reference from Harry saying, I just don't know if he can graduate to the non-substitute class. Fine, he can race anywhere, but he can't continue to hide behind bad lines to keep him safe. So that's not going to happen. We'll see what happens with Dominion moving forward, but I just expect a lot more from this horse. And then the break from Victory was odd. He just did not feel as good as he did. It wasn't a lameness thing. He just didn't feel as good as he did. The track was in better shape, so I'm a little surprised he had made that break. But we'll try to get him back on track this week. He's another horse. Is he going to be effective moving forward? I don't know about that. You may see him show up in a preferred sale in the near future also. But these shouldn't be shocks. I've already mentioned 4 horses, both 2 and 3-year-olds, that may end up in the sale. So we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. But Saturday night was a great night. Not very often you see a trotter come 25-4 on the end of it, which Tactical Mounts did. 3rd place finished to 2 of the very best trotters in the world right now on the female side, and actually beat the Goo filly that won the final in Ontario also. Beat her at the wire for 3rd. So this filly is firing on all cylinders. Megan has her great. Scotty's driving her great. It was a treat to watch her race. And then it just kind of lifted everybody else, I think, for the rest of the night. We went 3 for 3 the next 3 out of the gate. Militant absolutely jogged and looked very, very good doing it. I'm Fancy Like, she didn't jog, but man, what a gritty mile for her. It's tough, you know, you hear me say gritty mile like Anthony. She won an overnight at Northfield Park. I want everybody to understand, because I hear people say that sometimes. There is no easy racing anywhere. You think 7 other people weren't out there trying to win that race as hard as I was? There is no easy racing anywhere. I don't care where you race, whether it's a fair or the Meadowlands. There's no easy racing anywhere. For that filly to win out of the 7-hole on a half-mile track and hold off the second favorite by a nose at the wire, usually a pretty big deal, and should be given the credence it deserves. She showed a lot of grit, a lot of heart, and a lot of determination to win on a track that isn't the old Northfield Park. This is a much slower surface right now. For her to win in 54-2 just goes to show how tough she is and what kind of a nice filly she is. It's a mile exactly where it was last week, 52 and a piece at Scioto. A big mile from I'm Fancy Like. We weren't done there. At the very same time, almost, we were watching No Free Lunch go out and win. I couldn't believe my eyes. Half in 54 seconds in a 12-claimer. I'm like, is there no safe haven anywhere at this place? 121-2. I'm like, come on, man. And then they get to the head of the lane, the front end collapses, a horse makes a break in the middle, No Free Lunch, drops down to the inside, and it just looked like the free fall from a roller coaster. He just went from 5th to, is he going to be any good, to winning by 4 lengths. He just inhaled the entire group. Now, I looked at the conditions, and I didn't really understand them. They try to curb a lot of the claiming by saying, if you've raced in the 12-claimer once, we'll let you go back in that 12-claimer with no tag for 1 race, maybe 2, which is neat. I've never seen them do that. They do that at a few tracks. I saw them do that this spring in Pennsylvania also, just to curb some of the rampant claiming that goes on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What they'll say is you race in 12.5. If you don't get claimed, you can race back in there for a start or 2 without a tag. It's cool. It's a cool idea, which means we're safe for another week with No Free Lunch in that particular class. He should do well. Stacy said he was sound this morning, come out of the race good. So that is great news for us. He looked awesome. And then Renegade Gypsy, as I said, I'm not so sure that horse wasn't just interfered with the other night. It looked to me like he had, that's his passing lane. You're not allowed to shut him off and inhibit him in any way. He got down in there and it just looked like it got a little constricted. You can't stop the horse and start him back up late in the mile. It looked to me like he got interfered with. That was my take on it. I never looked at the official line, but I would not be shocked to see an I beside his name. Now tonight, Sunday night, I'm excited. We have My Wicked Heart, Hallie and the Clouds, Stay Close, and Arrowhead Hanover. Stay Close coming in sharp. Arrowhead Hanover looks good in that class. He's 5-2 morning line. I had a great conversation with Mark. He was excited that Ray's horse won his horse that he went to drive in the Sire Stake in Pennsylvania was a winner and did well. I was disappointed, obviously, we didn't get to see Green Glitter race because she was sick, but she'll be out next week also. And I talked to Mark again about a number of things, and we talked about Arrowhead Hanover. I said, sweet horse to drive, doesn't do anything wrong. He's just handy. No old Donnie Rankin saying, hey, or Callie, one or the other. Handy as a shirt pocket. But I told him, I said, the one thing you got to watch for, he'll duck in coming out of the last turn. So keep your eye out for that. He'll catch you off guard if you're not waiting for it. Mark knows what he's doing, so it was worth a mention, but I'm sure there won't be any issues with Arrowhead Hanover tonight. Excited about the whole week coming up, right? All the way till I'm looking at Wednesday on the calendar. We have a pretty good night, and it looks like a lot of horses are in a little tough. Yo, Mister, what are his odds? 9-2 in the 18,000 class, so he's in the right spot. James is back on him. That's good. Serious Dragon must have caught a decent class too at Mohawk. I see he's 4-1 with James driving him, which is good. I know that without looking, Brace for Landing and Looks Like Money are both in a little snug. Brace, I think, 10-1, tough spot to be in. And Looks Like Money 8-1 in the free-for-all. So tough spot there, but we will close our night out with a 9-5 shot in Great Bet. He certainly looked good his first start. We'll see if his memory is as good as his gait as we race on Monday evening. But the rest of the week should be a lot of fun. I get to go to the fair on Tuesday. That should be great. Where do we got Sweeney? I see he popped up. Where is he at? 10-1 in the condition claimer, 30 claimer for non-winners of 2. Should be effective in there, I think. First start on Lasix, yes. We'll see. Tuesday I get to go to the fair. Wednesday looks like the fair, and then Wednesday night Northfield Park, and then everything gets a little cool after that. We get some stake races for Gypsy and Irresistible Sun on Thursday afternoon. We get some racing in the Meadows Thursday afternoon. That's July 4th weekend. It should be a ton of fun. Friday, I'm certain we have racing in a lot of places. I know Ollie plays ball on Friday also. It's frustrating I can't get to see him play this week, but excited to see how he plays. And then Saturday, I know we talk about the start to the summer, but really the next generation, when we're racing for $600,000 next Saturday night, and there's no cakewalks, right? This is going to be tough in every division. I doubt we're going to be 9-5 in any of them. Maybe Aunt Lily will be bet down, I'm not sure, but there'll be no gimmies next Saturday for sure in the next generation. Should be a lot of fun, very, very exciting day, and one that I'm looking forward to quite a bit. And that's not all it's racing on Saturday. We have also, I've skipped over Country Dancing racing this week. Her first lifetime start will be in the Stallion Series on Thursday. We have a number of things going on this week, but it's an exciting time. We're on a bit of a heater. As I said, the horses raced great this week as a whole, as a team. We've been racing great for 2 or 3 weeks, and man, always important to have luck and to keep it going, and that's all we can hope for. So with that, your videos are done for the week. A little more chipper than I was on Saturday, a little happier with the way things went on Saturday night, and excited for the week ahead. So I hope you are too. I hope we have great weather. The initial report from next week is just 25 Celsius, which is 82, 83 at Scioto. Hopefully the rain stays away and it makes for a great week of racing for us. So take care. I will talk to you all very soon. I hope you've had a wonderful, if you're in Canada, hope you're having a wonderful July 1st weekend for you guys, for me also right now in the States. July 4th will be here soon, and it is a great week ahead. Take care.